trusty little notebook, and that can only mean one thing: I'm back to do a what I've watched video. I feel like I haven't got as many things as maybe I usually do, and that's because though these things, a lot of them I really want to talk about quite a bit, because so many of these movies I loved. Okay, so, oh, you know what I've just realised? It's February. Just realised this right now. I knew it was February, but I just realised it's February, and in my little book I've got January 2015, and I completely forgot to mention February ever in here. So, I'm going to put February there. I'll start February today. It's like the 4th. Maybe it's the 5th. Well, for me, I'm just starting February today, in my book. So anyway, these are the movies I watched for the rest of January and until a little bit of February. But I didn't even realise. So, yes, let's get right into it. So I'm just going to pick up my first few stats. But yeah, like I'm saying, a lot of these movies I really enjoyed. So I really want to talk about them a bit more in depth than I might usually. So the first one being Paranorman. I did a review on this, quite a few of these I did, but I have other things that I want to say and add to it. So, yes. Paranorman is the second movie from, I don't know how to pronounce it, you know, they did Coraline, they've now done the Box Trolls, and Paranorman. I had bought this movie when it came out, and I was like, oh yeah, interested to see it, but then I was like, oh no, I felt like it was kind of going to be like a silly zombie type of movie, and it's so much more than that though. I absolutely loved it. I gave it, what did I give it? My notebook will tell me, but I turned the page. I gave it 4.5 stars, I think. If I didn't, then I want to give it 4.5 stars. I gave it 4. Okay, well, maybe I'll give it 4.5 stars now, because this movie's been in my mind. I've thought about it, I watched a special features on it, I did a special feature Sunday on it, and the way they put this together was crazy. It took so long. It took them a week to create Norman's hair. I mean, think about that. And this movie is fantastic. If you've not seen it, I highly recommend you check it out. It's about a boy called Norman who can see spirits. And the world is fantastic. The characters are brilliant. His best friend, this one here, is so cute and so funny. I love this movie. It's actually in our Tuesday night movie night pot right now, so I know I'll be watching it again soon, and I cannot wait to watch this one again. I feel like in life this is a movie that I'm going to watch quite a few times because I just enjoyed it so much. It was funny, it was quirky, it had some little mildly scary bits, and I loved the story, I loved the outcome, I loved the message. This movie. Please watch Paranorman. It was so great. I loved it so much. The next one here I have is Rio. I had seen parts of this movie before, but not the whole thing in one go. And I recently got Rio 2 for Christmas on 3D, which, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to watch it in 3D, because this one the whole time I was like, you know what? I kind of wish I had this in 3D because it would look fantastic. The flying scenes are absolutely beautiful. It's about this bird called Blue, and it's obviously set in Rio. And it's so beautiful. I gave this movie 4 stars. I liked the story, I liked the characters, but more than anything, the setting of this movie blew me away. The animation was crazy good. This was such a wonderful movie to just watch, just to look at with your eyes. Was like, well, what else are you going to look at it with, I don't know. But to look at, it was so just, there were so many scenes that I even just wanted to like pause it and look at it, because it looked so pretty. Anyway, Blue can't fly, and he meets this other bird called, what's this other bird called? I've forgotten now. And you know, she is a wild bird, whereas Blue is a pet, and it's very, very funny and very cute, and basically he gets taken away and he has to find his way back to his owner, and it's so cute, it's so lovely. I definitely recommend this if you enjoy animation movies, or maybe just in general love beautiful looking movies, because this one's great, and I cannot wait to watch Rio 2, like I say, especially in 3D, because I think those flying scenes, if done right, are going to look amazing. And if I really think that Rio 2 looks really good not on Blu-ray, on 3D, I might go ahead and pick up this one in 3D at some point as well. But yeah, so overall I really, really enjoyed this. I liked the story, it really surprised me. I'm not the biggest fan of Jesse Eisenberg, who voices the main bird here, but he was great as Blue, actually. You got a good feel for him. Blue as a character is wonderful. He's very, I don't even know how to describe him. He's, you know, he's just a really quirky, different character. You'll know what I mean when you see it, and there's a lot of fun characters in this. The baddie, he was pretty funny, he was pretty good. He's not on the front here, but the bad guy, he was great. He was this white bird. You might have seen a picture of him. He has this like orange, I don't know birds, I don't know types of birds, so I couldn't tell you what type of bird he was. I just know that he was a white bird with kind of yellow little, yeah, that was a bad explanation. But yeah, Rio, you should definitely watch it. The next one I watched, I gave 5 stars. This movie, it was The Call. I did a review on it, and it just got me. That first time I watched it, I mean, I've only watched it once, but that first time, and I kind of was like, afterwards, like, I was like, oh no, don't know if I'd watch that again, because it was so good, but it kind of creeps me out in a weird little way. So it's like, oh, I don't know if I'll watch that again, but now I kind of feel like I really want to watch it again. So basically this girl gets kidnapped, and Halle Berry is working for 911 call centre, and she gets this call, and it's all about that. It's about this call. Halle Berry's on one end, Abigail Breslин's been kidnapped. It's so intense. I was like, I've done a review, I was like sweating and panicking. I was like, oh my god. And then, oh gosh, this movie, I think I highly recommend this movie. I've not heard enough people talking about it. I loved it. It was great. It was one of the best movies I watched in January. I can't even have words. And the ending was a little bit hit and miss, but it could have been worse. Sometimes they have great movies and then the end is like completely like no. But this ending, it wasn't the best, but it was, you know, I could accept it. I could accept it for what it was. Like, okay, this could have gone worse. I was kind of thinking where they're gonna go with this. I thought they were gonna mess it all up, but no, I was like, okay. But gosh, yeah, this movie was very, very suspenseful. You didn't really know what was going to happen. Like, you know, it's about this kidnapping, and on the phone, it made you really, really think about the people who have to take 911 calls, or we call it in this country 999. But yeah, that really made me think about that, and I thought it was really interesting. I'd never really thought about it before, about having that job must be so hard, and like, I don't know. But yeah, so the people who have that job just, you know, because you always like think, I'm getting off onto a weird little tangent here, but you always like think, oh, like a lot of the policemen who have to deal with it and stuff, but then you kind of maybe sometimes forget about the people who actually have to take these calls and hear people in these situations. So yeah, that was a really crazy thing to think about. But yeah, definitely watch this movie. I really, really enjoyed it. I highly recommend it. It was brilliant. The next one I have is Sherlock Holmes. Now we watched this on a Tuesday night movie night, and I'd seen it before. I love Robert Downey Jr. and I did enjoy it. But I've now since seen the Sherlock TV series, and so yeah, I'm glad that I didn't see the Sherlock TV series before watching this, because I think I would have thought this wasn't very good. This is quite confusing, whereas in Sherlock the TV series they do it really, really well. Basically, this now isn't as good. I don't know what I think about this movie anymore. So yeah, Sherlock the TV show really is fantastic. People have been telling me about it for a while. I was like, oh yeah, I need to watch it. And I've watched it, I love it. So this movie, I gave 3.5 stars, but I feel like now I'd maybe just give it 3. I don't know, I feel like that's mean that I'm dissing the movie now I've seen something else, but they could have done a better job with this. I know this came out, wait, I don't even know when the other one came out. They could have done a better job, that's all I'm saying. Okay, next we have Baby Boom, which I talked about in underrated movies. This has Diane Keaton in. It's very funny, very uplifting, very sweet. I love the ending, I love the story. She's like a whole workaholic woman, and she gets kind of given this baby, or she gets landed with this baby who's like a distant relative's baby, and they've passed away, and she has no idea how to look after babies. And her life takes some different paths, but this is what I love about this movie. I said in my review, her life, more than just the baby thing, other things happen. Her life changes in a way that she did not plan for, and a way that she has her goals and her dreams are over here. Her life ends up taking this option over here. She didn't even think about it, but yet she doesn't kind of get down about it. She doesn't like moan about it. She's sad about it, but she kind of accepts it and then takes like a higher dream route this other way. Does that make sense? So like her dreams are over here and her life's gone this way, but yet she finds like a path of her dreams through this other way, and like it's great. I love that. I love that it showed that okay, it didn't go the way that she wanted it to. It went a different way, but still she was able to kind of try and go for it with that way. That didn't make sense, but watch this movie. You'll understand it. It makes sense then. Next one I've got is Free Willy. I also give this 5 stars. I don't know what happened. I was watching this and I was like, yes, I love this movie. I just kind of fell in love with the movie all over again. This is a nostalgic movie for me. I grew up watching Free Willy, and I love whales. Whales would probably be maybe my 3rd or 4th favourite animal. First being giraffes. Second being wolves or husky dogs. The kind of, I know people say they're not really the same, but they kind of look a little bit similar. That's why I group them together. And, or like, you know, snow dog type things. I guess that's what you call them. And maybe 3rd would be whales. Anyway, so overall, this movie is a great movie. Everybody should watch it. I talked about it on underrated movies. It's a childhood classic of mine, and I cannot wait to continue now watching the rest. It's just such a lovely story. Just watch Free Willy. Just watch it, trust me. I gave it 5 stars, and at the time I was just loving it. Okay, so the next one I have here is salmon fishing in the Yemen. I ended up enjoying this so much more than I thought I would. I gave it 4, what did I give it, 4 stars? Did I? Yes, I did. I gave it 4 stars. It's a British movie, well, it says on the front British comedy, but I guess it is funny, but it's kind of so much more than that. Basically, it's about this man who kind of works at, he's like a magazine newsy person, but his big passion is in fishing. And then this very rich man from the Yemen comes up with this idea that he wants to have salmon fishing, you know, in the Yemen, salmon fishing in the Yemen. And Emily Blunt is kind of working with this man to try and achieve that goal. You know, he says he'll pay a lot of money for it, and Ewan goes like, you know, that's not going to happen. And it is a lot about fishing, but it's kind of a lot about life as well. And it's so great. I can't really explain it because the story doesn't sound that great. I feel like it's not like you're going to be like, yes, I want to watch that, but definitely I recommend it. I really, really enjoyed it. I know I'd watch it again. It was really beautiful in its own kind of little way. The story was lovely, the setting was lovely. It was all very, very beautiful, very, very lovely. I loved the story. It was just kind of, lovely is the great word for this, which doesn't seem like, lovely, it doesn't seem like a great word, but for me, this movie, it just kind of, it was very, that's all the word I have for it. But yeah, I really loved it. I loved the life motto type thing in it at some point. When the guy who, if you've seen it, they do a bit of fishing, and this guy says something about, he kind of compares, oh gosh, you know what? I'm not going to try and tell you it because I don't know it off by heart, but he basically compares like an aspect of fishing to general life, and I really, really loved that. And I was going to say, I feel like it's something that would stick with me, but I've already seemed to have forgot it, so I need to look that up, because I really, really liked that. During the movie I was like, yeah, need to remember that in my brain, and then I forgot it. But, you know, overall I really, really loved it. I gave it 4 stars. I definitely recommend you check it out, because I feel like a lot of people might have overlooked this movie, and maybe it looks kind of, maybe people might think it looks a bit boring, but it's definitely not. It's definitely one to watch. I really loved it. And the next one I have is Guess Who? Now, I've had this movie for a long time. Don't know where it came from, don't know where I acquired it from. I think I got it from the car boot at some point. I think I picked it up because Ashton Kutcher's in it. And you're going to look at this movie and be like, but I think it's like a take on, is it called Guess Who's Coming for Dinner? And it's kind of like that. Basically, it deals with interracial relationships, which, honestly, I've never thought of as being like a problematic thing. Does that make sense? I've never thought of it. I mean, I understand, I don't know, in today, now in time, I've never thought of it being a problem. I don't know, it's never something that I've thought about, like, oh, that could be an issue for people in that situation, but I guess that it is, which is really sad, really, if you think about it, that it's, I mean, this movie's kind of old, but like, just in general in life, that's sad that that kind of can be an issue. But anyway, so this movie deals with that issue, I guess. And, you know, she is from a coloured family and he is white, and it causes some issues. You know, she takes him home to her family and they are like, whoa, we're not sure about this, but it's actually really funny. I enjoyed it. I gave it 3 stars, did I? Yes, I did. I gave it 3 stars. It was just an easy watch. It kind of had a nice little motto. I mean, like I say, it made me think about something I didn't think about before, which is always a good thing. And it was just like a fun little comedy. It wasn't anything to be taken too seriously. You know, it didn't change my life, but it was fun. It was nice. I enjoyed watching it. So yeah, if you just need an easy watch maybe one time, Guess Who? I enjoyed myself. I probably wouldn't watch it again, but I still enjoyed it. The next one I watched Carrie for the 2nd time with Chloe Grace Moretz. This movie, I really enjoyed it. I had, like I said, seen it before. I enjoyed it. I watched it again. I really enjoyed it. I feel like it's one that I would watch kind of, you know, again in life. But I don't really have loads to say about it because it's a really odd one. I really like the concept. I don't know if you want it. And I really like the whole way it's done. I think Chloe Grace Moretz is fantastic in it. I love Ansel Elgort, what's his name? He's great in it. I love him in it. Gabrielle Wilde, she's really great in it. But there's some people that you hate in this movie, and I don't really hate people or hate things often. Like, the word hate I don't use, but there's a girl in this film that I really didn't like. And she kind of drove me a bit insane, and she was supposed to, but it kind of made me feel a bit annoyed. So, but yeah, overall, if you haven't seen Carrie, I haven't seen the others. So that's why I feel like I can't comment too much on this. But Julianne Moore, she was great in this as well, though. Like, seriously, she was so weird, but great. What did I give that one? I gave that one 4 stars, so yeah. Next one I've got is Mad Money. We watched this on a Tuesday night movie night. I enjoyed it, but I feel like I didn't enjoy it as much the 2nd time. The first time I watched it, I really, really enjoyed it. The 2nd time I watched it with my mum, and she didn't enjoy it quite as much as me. And if you're ever watching a movie with someone who's not enjoying it that much, it kind of makes it not as enjoyable. Does that make sense? Like, you know, if you watch a movie with someone and you feel their not enjoyment of them, like, not bad vibes. She was giving off those, like, bad non-enjoyment vibes. So I kind of feel like I didn't enjoy it as much the second time, because it is kind of silly. It's just a silly movie, but I loved it the first time. But, you know, I still enjoy it. It was fun. You know, they work in a bank. Well, it's not quite a bank, it's like this security bank type thing, and basically they try and rob the bank. But it is very funny, and I loved the way they did it. It's just a fun little girly movie, but yeah, I really do enjoy this. Okay, now we're getting into some of the stuff that I kind of really want to talk about a lot. Next one I have is The Giver. I've done a review for The Giver, but I'm still now thinking about this movie. I want to watch it again soon. There's so much to think about with this film. So basically, like I say, I have done a review, so I might repeat myself a little bit, I'm sorry about that. I watched this movie, and then I watched it again straight afterwards, so I'd be like, yeah, I watched The Giver, and then I watched The Giver. And that's because I felt like I just really needed to watch it again. So I literally watched it pretty much straight after watching it the first time. And it just made me think so much. There's so many scenes in this movie when I'm like, wow, like, that really is such a brilliant thing that we don't think about. It makes you think about things that we take for granted a lot, because basically it's like this utopian world where everything's kind of, they've set everything up to be kind of really perfect. Like, there's no weather changes, everything's kind of one way. It's so that there can be no pain in the world. And then there's a bit in this movie where it says, like, you know, we must feel pain in order to be able to feel joy. Well, it doesn't quite say that. I mean, you know, I can't quote anything because my memory's awful, but it says something like that, and that made me really think, like, it's just, I don't know, for me, I feel like nobody else got this from this movie. For me, I found this such a thought-provoking movie that I just loved. I just loved it. And I gave it, what did I give it? I gave it 5 stars, right? I think I did. I gave it 5 stars. I was like, yeah, 5 stars for that movie. It made me think so much, and it's kind of, it starts out in black and white. Jeff Bridges is great in it. He's basically, he is this man who knows all the past memories. It's set like in the future, like I say. And he knows the past memories of what life used to be like. And he has to tell this boy these memories. And it's so awesome to see somebody who hasn't got these memories, who don't know what these things are, finding out these things. I just loved it. It was kind of, I don't know, it just made me really think about everything. And all the things that we have now in today's world, and that we don't really think about, but we should maybe think about. I don't know, this movie made me think a lot. And I loved it for that, and I just kind of want to watch it again and again and again, because I liked thinking about those things. I was like, oh yeah, this is, I don't know if that was probably its purpose, maybe it wasn't, I don't know, but that's how it made me feel, and I definitely recommend that everybody watch this movie. Even if you don't like it, I think you should watch it, which sounds silly, because you're like, well, why don't I watch it if I don't like it, but if you're not enjoying it, just carry on with it. Watch the whole thing, and then maybe think about it in a different perspective of not just it as a movie. That's what I like to do. Like, I could look at this as a movie and be like, oh yeah, it was a good movie. But the movie made me think about other things apart from the movie, which is what I like best about movies. When movies can do that, that's what I like. So yeah, The Giver, I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. I'll watch it again and again. Okay, the next one that I watched was As Good As It Gets. Now, I gave this, what did I give it? I gave it 3.5 stars. I enjoyed it. I did. It's got Jack Nicholson in it, who's fantastic. It's got Helen Hunt in, who I also really liked, but I just kind of didn't love it. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I just watched The Giver before I watched this, and I loved that so much. But I don't know. Jack Nicholson is this man who's very kind of secluded and to himself, and he doesn't really, he's got, what has he got? He's got, oh man, he's got, what's he got? He has a problem. I think it's, I don't know, he has OCD for sure, but I think he has something else, and I can't think of it. Well, for now, right, basically he's a man who has OCD, so, you know, obviously that's difficult for him. You know, he comes into the house and he has to do things a certain way, and, you know, he kind of always has to go to his same restaurant and have the same thing, and, like, he can't have their knives and forks, he has to have his own knives and forks. But he's also very kept to himself. I don't know, I feel like, you know, so he's kind of, you know, he does have some troubles in his life, and he has some past experiences that have led him to some troubles. But then he kind of, like, because of this one dog in the building, that's a neighbour's dog, he ends up kind of in these wave of circumstances. And it's really nice, you kind of see him open up and connect with people, which I really liked. And he's very, like I say, he's very troubled, but he meets other people with, like, troubles as well, and I feel like that was really interesting. It was kind of really inspiring, but the movie did take a bit of a turn that I wasn't really sure if I liked it, so I wish it kind of wouldn't have done that, and I might have enjoyed it a bit more. But overall, I enjoyed it. I definitely kind of recommend you watch it it was also very funny as well. It had some funny moments. It was kind of an inspiring movie. It was a fun movie. It was an interesting movie. The characters in this, all the characters in it were very interesting. That's what I kind of really liked. All the characters, even the side characters, had really interesting little stories. So that was really great. But yeah, it did take a turn that I was like, I'm not sure about that. Okay, next up we have Noah. So I had already seen Noah once before, but I watched it again and I really, really do enjoy this movie. I mean, it's definitely, I think I actually have probably read the Noah page in the Bible. I think it's literally like a page or so. So it's only a very short story in the Bible, but I feel like I have read it, but I couldn't tell you it exactly. But this definitely doesn't follow in suit with that quite. So I understand why people who maybe are very religious would be annoyed. But it's Darren Aronofsky, so that can tell you something. And Russell Crowe was great in it. Emma Watson was great in it. Douglas Booth, where's he? He's not on the front cover here. He was great in it. Logan Lerman was great in it. This woman whose name I've forgotten. She was great in it. All the cast was really, really great. But, and Anthony Hopkins, he was in it. There's a lot of people in it. There's also this other guy in it. They're great. All the cast was brilliant. The cinematography, I don't know what I was going to say, the vision. The cinematography in it was absolutely mind-blowing. That's my favourite thing about this movie. The cinematography was incredible. I think more movies need to look like this. They had time lapses that looked so beautiful. So for anything, just to look at this movie is wonderful. So definitely watch it for that. But I feel like I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I did. But the second time watching it, there was parts where I was like, there's parts that were a bit not as interesting as the first time I watched it. The first time I watched it, I was like, oh, really enthralled by it. The second time I was like, I could have give or take a few bits. But I think that's just because it's quite a long movie and it's quite in-depth in story, and I don't know. I feel like the second time I watched it, I wasn't quite sure how I felt about it. The first time I was like, oh wow, like it kind of blew me away because of the way that it looked and how fantastic it was and the big scale it was. I mean, I'm sure they built that ark. So, I mean, it was great. Obviously everyone knows the story about Noah. He builds an ark, he gets the animals on, he leaves all the other people to drown. That's the story of Noah. And I don't know. I enjoyed it. But did I enjoy it as much the second time? No. But I still get 4 stars, but now I'm looking at it from a different point of view. So I'm like, okay, how do I feel about it now, the second time? But yes, that's Noah. I still would recommend it. Like I say, the first time I watched it, it kind of really did blow me away because of the way it looked. And the acting was great, and the story was different. It was kind of interesting. I didn't know what's going to happen. I think that's what that movie is best at, the first watch. Okay, the next one was Boyhood. I've still been thinking about this movie. This movie, I gave, what did I get? 4.5 stars. Yeah, okay, I still give 4.5 stars. And obviously it's filmed over 12 years, it's about this boy growing up, but it deals with so many different life issues, so many different things, and it goes through so much, and so many changes and turns. I feel like this film's so kind of realistic, and I feel like when watching it I felt so connected to the characters, because obviously you really, really see them grow up, and I felt like I kind of really knew them, and I was really in the story, and it's very, it's not like overly anything. It feels like you're really there watching these people have a conversation. It feels very normal and natural. That's what I loved about it. It just, I don't know, it's something wonderful about it. It's really been making me think about a lot of things, and like growing up through time and the different changes in life, that different doors you might go through and different paths you might take that lead to different situations. And this movie kind of really shows that. I mean, sometimes in this movie some bad things happen, but then you're like, oh yeah, at least that. I love seeing the outcome of everything because it's over such a long period of time. And almost, if this movie would have just carried on and carried on and carried on and carried on and carried on through this boy's life, like it would have just carried on, I would have just kept watching it. I wouldn't have ever got bored of watching it. I did pause it at one point and go to bed and wake up and watch the rest. That was just because it was late. Cause it is quite a long movie. It's 2 hours, what does it say? 2 hours 45 minutes. Yeah, it's just under 3 hours, but I feel like even if it would have been longer, I could have kept watching it. I never got bored. I never was uninterested. I never didn't care, because I cared so much about the characters, I feel like, in this movie, that I really felt like I was going along on a journey with them, and I want to know what's happening to them now. I kind of really want to know the rest, but there is no rest, because these are just characters, and that's kind of how it is, but they were so interesting in their own kind of weird little ways. There was nothing spectacular about any of them. They were just normal, general people, but that was what made them so interesting, just kind of looking at these people's lives and assessing that, the choices they made and the different paths they'd taken, and it was so interesting. I really, really loved Boyhood. I definitely recommend it. It's nominated for the Oscar Best Picture, and I kind of hope it wins. It's the only one I've actually seen, so I'd be happy if it wins. I'm like, oh yeah, Boyhood, I know that. I know what we're on about, but yeah. So definitely watch Boyhood if you haven't already. I'm sure you've heard of it. I loved it. It was fantastic. Next one I have is another one I loved, and it is What We Did on Our Holiday. This movie is so good. I just want to watch it again and again and again. I watched this movie and then the next day I watched it again, and it's so fantastic. It's so lovely. It's a British comedy. It is very funny, but it's also very kind of like, it has like this life lesson. I feel like I learned something from this movie that kind of really made me smile, and I loved Billy Connolly. He gives some really good like little advice. Like, he's talking about things, and I love his way of looking at life. It's so great. The children in this are fantastic. The movie is lovely. I've just done a review of it actually, and I kind of was like raving on about how great it was. But I just feel like I could watch this movie a lot and just be happy and enjoy it. And if ever like I was like, right, I need to like, I don't know, maybe I was having a really bad day. Maybe everything had gone wrong. If I watch this movie, I'd like feel way better. This is a movie that if you're having a bad day, watch this movie. This movie will make you feel better. If you're having a good day, it'll make the good day even better. But I feel like it kind of, I didn't think that it was going to make me think. I didn't think it was going to make me think about things, and it did so much. You know, it was so surprising. It took so many different paths that I did not think it was going to take at all. I loved it. It was great. It was happy. It was sad. It was heartwarming. It was lovely. It was inspiring. It was everything. Loved it. Loved it. Definitely check out What We Did on Our Holiday. The next one I have is Gone Girl. Yes, everybody's been talking about Gone Girl. I finally watched it, and I really, really enjoyed it. I just did a review on this one as well, so I feel like I've only just talked about it, but I didn't know who I liked in this movie though. I was like, oh yeah, I like them best. They're the good guy. And I was like, oh no, they're the good guy. Oh no, this is the good. I had no idea. It was very kind of twisty-turny, thriller, suspense. You didn't know what was going on. Very interesting. It's about this man, Ben Affleck, whose wife goes missing. I'm sure you've probably heard about it, and it's very interesting. Very, very different than I thought it was going to be. Really surprised me. I really loved it. I'd definitely watch it again. And it was put together wonderfully. I mean, it's based on a book. But yeah, overall I really enjoyed it. This also made me think about a lot of things, but a lot of different things. And it was more the like first third, I'd say, that made me think about things. And it was kind of in the flashback scenes to, you know, that basically she is missing on their 5th wedding anniversary. And there's some like, you know, flashback scenes of their life together and how they met and things. And she's writing this journal, and those are the kind of parts that made me really think about things and people and things like that. So yeah, this one I really enjoyed as well. I've had a lot of thought-provoking movies, and I like them. I've been like, ooh, but I've had a lot to think about. I feel like that's as well as why I've not watched tons of movies, because I've really been thinking about the ones that I've been watching. The next one I watched was Breakfast at Tiffany's with Audrey Hepburn. I had never seen this. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 3.5 stars, and I feel like I'm always kind of going to remember it. I feel like I'm always going to remember this. I love Audrey Hepburn's character in this one. I love her cat. It's just called Cat. It's brilliant. She's really funny, really quirky. She lives in New York in these apartments, and her story is so interesting and wonderful. I definitely recommend you check out Breakfast at Tiffany's if you haven't already, but I'm sure you already probably have and probably already know what it's about. So I won't go into that one too much, but overall I really, really enjoyed it, and I probably will watch it again in life. I just kind of know I will at some point. And then finally I watched, oh yeah, I gave it 3.5 stars. Finally I watched The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. This movie, another movie that just got me thinking, got me just wondering about life, and this movie made me want to, like I've always said I really want to travel. I've talked about this in my videos before. This movie made me really, really, really want to travel even more. I'm so glad that next Sunday I'm going away, because otherwise I'd be like dying to go somewhere, because this movie makes you want to like just jump on a plane and go. It's about this guy called Walter Mitty, who's a very basic, normal guy. He works at Life magazine, and you know, he's kind of never really gone out of his comfort zone. He's always kind of stuck on the same path, and then one day something happens, and it kind of makes him have to kind of go out of his way to, he basically has to go to Greenland and Iceland, and that's kind of, and he has never done anything like that. He's like, oh gosh, like, you know, he's kind of got to go and do it, but he has these kind of daydream things. So the first half an hour of this movie I was actually a little bit unsure of it. I'd watched the first half an hour another time actually and not really carried on watching it, and it's because like that's the bit I liked, that it kind of built up and showed you his normal life type of thing and the background of his life, but he has these kind of like daydream type things, and they kind of annoyed me in the beginning. I don't know why, but then the rest of the movie was fantastic. I really, really loved it. I gave it 4.5 stars. The message was wonderful. It was all like Walter Mitty stepping out of his comfort zone and doing these things, and it kind of was so exciting and inspiring, and I just wanted to go and see everything in the world like with it. When you see that Walter Mitty can do it, you feel like you can do it. It's like that kind of thing. You're like, yes, Walter Mitty did that, I can do that. You feel like really like courageful. Is that a word? No. What would that word be? Courageful should be a word because I can't think of the alternate word. So yeah, it looked beautiful on Blu-ray, definitely pick it up on Blu-ray. It just looked, oh, it was spectacular. Like, seriously, the scenes in this movie, oh, they were so just amazing, breathtaking. It was great, I loved it, and I definitely recommend that you check it out. I want to watch it again soon. I cannot wait to watch it again soon. I'm very excited. So, if I was to recommend some movies out of this bunch, I would recommend The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Definitely watch that one. I would also recommend... I would really recommend Gone Girl. I would. I would recommend What We Did on Our Holiday, for sure. And I would recommend Boyhood, definitely. I would also recommend, sorry, I'm just bending down, The Giver. And then I would also recommend, I would recommend The Call, Free Willy and Paranorman. Okay, let's see. Free Willy, Paranorman. Dropping them all. Dropping everything. Paranorman and Free Willy. Okay, so I think in life, write these on your life list. I said this another time, that you need a life list of movies. You guys, you should start a list and write these on it. Just making you do things. So, Free Willy should be on the list. Free Willy is wonderful. Paranorman, I think really should be on the list as well. It was really, really lovely and great. The Call, I mean, it depends how you feel about movies. This movie just made me think. It was very creepy, very suspenseful, very thriller. It was it was a drama thriller thing. The Giver, put this one on your list to think about life. Boyhood, it was fantastic, wonderful, it needs to be on the list. What We Did on Our Holiday, cannot tell you about that one enough. Gone Girl, I don't know, I don't feel like Gone Girl would be a must-watch on the list of life, but I really enjoyed it and it's kind of recent, everyone's talking about it, I kind of think you should watch it. But then again, like I say, it did really make me think about some things. No, Gone Girl would be on the list. Put Gone Girl on the list. I think you should, yes. And The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, definitely put this one on your list. Watch the first half an hour if you're not enjoying it. Carry on watching it because I promise you it'll get better. So don't shun this one off, okay? So those are the ones to put on your list. Please do that. The other ones I really enjoyed as well, but these ones I'm like super excited about, super passionate about. Now I'm gonna let you go because I've talked on and on and on and on and on. But I was just super excited about these movies. So until then, guys, thumbs up if you enjoy these What I've Watched videos. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful weekend, whenever it is right now, weekend. Keep smiling, peeps. I'll see you then. Goodbye.